Hello! So I have been testing out a foundation. It is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Maximum Cover Camouflage Makeup for Face and Body. This has SPF 15. I purchased mine from Ulta and it cost me $39.50. And there are 8 shades to choose from. I know that the claims are that this is a very long wearing formula, very full coverage, and it won't clog your pores. It should cover everything from scarring to discoloration, all of that. So it's a matte foundation and I have been testing out for a little while. I have been a long time user of the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup with SPF 10, and this one is supposed to be a little bit more coverage. So let me just swatch these two colors side by side. This one here is the Estee Lauder Double Wear in shade 2W1 Sand 36. And then this guy is 1N3 Creamy Vanilla. I find that the shade does match me pretty well, but it's a little bit peachy for my tone. So basically, I am normally more of a user of lighter weight foundations. I do sometimes like full coverage. I do sometimes like matte, but my skin is fairly dry, so I don't like anything too dry. And I did want to try this because of its claims to really long wear as well as really full coverage. In the past, I have had pretty good success with the double wear, but sometimes I still feel like I need a concealer or something like that on days I want to be like super flawless. So after having tried out this guy, I have found that the coverage is really good. It has very full coverage in my opinion. One of the most full coverage foundations I've tried, and I would say it's a true matte. It's not like a satin matte or like a soft matte. It's more of that true matte. It does take down the shine, although throughout the day I don't find that it's super drying or overly cakey. Keep in mind that I do just use a little tiny bit and spread it. Like I don't use a lot of it. I'm sure it could become cakey if I were to use a lot, but that's why the squeezy tube is so great, because you can really control how much you get out, as opposed to a pump. Sometimes it's hard to control. And another benefit over the original Double Wear is that the squeezy tube is a nice compact container and you're able to control it, and this one doesn't come with a pump. You have to buy the pump separate. So as far as what I like about this foundation, I do like the amount of coverage you get. I also find that it's a fairly thin formula for having such full coverage, which I personally appreciate. I find that it's not too thick and cakey, like I said. That being said, one of the biggest cons with this product for me is how it sits with texture. One of my biggest issues is large pores. I also get bumps from acne and little hives. I get hives on my skin a lot, and this doesn't do any favors for any of my texture. It does go on smoothly, but once it's on, texture can be definitely accentuated with this product, with my dry skin and with my large pores and with my bumps from hives. So all of those things I find look a little bit worse when I wear this. So I have to either use a smoothing primer underneath and or use a smoothing powder on top. Another pro for this foundation, I would say, is that it is long wearing. I haven't had any issues with it lasting a full day. Swear, like it's long wearing. I've worn this outside in the heat and it's never really worn off too much. The only places I found that it's worn off a little bit throughout the day is around my nose and sometimes around my mouth, depending on what I've been doing. Otherwise, this stuff stays put. I don't find that it transfers onto my clothing. So if you have any body scars or anything that you'd like to kind of touch up, I think that it does live up to its claim being good for face and body. Another pro, I think, is that because it is such full coverage, I personally don't find that I need to also grab a concealer. This is kind of my one and done product. And you have to use so little of it that I think this 1 fluid ounce is going to last me a lot longer than, let's say, the All Hours foundation from YSL, which I find I need to use a little bit more to get the coverage, like a full coverage look. All in all, I don't think that this is the most natural looking foundation ever. I think that if you're looking for more of a natural looking full coverage, I would say take a look at the Hourglass Stick Foundation or the YSL, though it does have a scent, or the Milani Conceal and Perfect. All of those offer pretty good coverage and look a little bit more natural. If you're looking for more of a matte finish, I definitely think that this is a good alternative, and this is a very long wearing product in my mind. Without further ado, if you would like to see how I like to apply this product and what it looks like as I'm applying it, then go ahead and keep on watching. I prepped and primed my skin. I did my skincare routine. I do have a drier skin type, so I used some oil, stuff like that. And then I used my Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. This is a moisturizer primer in one, so it's very hydrating and has hyaluronic acid. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start with this guy. So the shade I have is 1N3 Creamy Vanilla. From everything I've seen, this product doesn't have a really good shade range, so that's a shame, but this shade has been working for me, and a little goes a long way. Personally, I have found that I like this product the best when I use my hands. I have used it with a brush and a sponge, and I've mixed it in with other products as well, but my favorite is just with my hands. I find it gives it a really nice skin-like finish. This is a very matte foundation, but I don't find that it's matte like super, how do you explain it? Like, it's not a satin matte or anything like that, but it's not the driest matte I have used. It's fairly thin for being so full coverage. And what I do is I just work in sections, and since it is a matte, it does set pretty quickly. I don't find I need to set this with a powder, and everything that I blend over it, like blush, bronzer, blends just fine. But you can set it with a powder if you are extra oily. Unlike a lot of my other foundations, this one does seem to set pretty quickly into a true matte. So I don't know if you can see the kind of coverage I'm getting, but I've got a lot of little blemishes, and I'm just finding it super easy. Like, that little bit that I squeezed on my hand is going a very, very long way. You can absolutely, if you want like full coverage, then you can definitely use a brush with this. I do prefer a brush over a sponge. My favorite way to use this foundation is to mix it in like a, you know, like a liquid illuminizer or something like that. But this color is a really good match for my skin tone right now. I would say that it applies really smoothly, but it's not necessarily a smoothing foundation. It's not the kindest foundation for my large pores, things like that. It can accentuate it a little bit, which is why, again, I really like using my hands, because I feel like it really works it into the skin and gives it the most beautiful finish. I have to really push it into the skin for my pores not to look like dots on my skin. With this product, I don't find that I need an under eye concealer or anything like that because it is so full coverage. And I don't really have to set it with a powder, but I do like to use my IT Cosmetics by Pores powder just because I find that my pores are accentuated with this foundation and it really irks me. So this powder just blurs all that out. Okay, and then that's all I do. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my face. Okay, so basically I don't find that I need to use powder with this product to set it, although I do use one to help with the whole textural issue. This is a very matte foundation, so if you're not looking for a true matte foundation, then this isn't for you. If you are oily, I have heard that this foundation can get a little bit dewy throughout the day, but everybody agrees, it seems like, that it is fairly long wearing. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, subscribe, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.